Welcome back to Scope, guys. So if you don't know me already, my name is Jibril, and I also happen to be a junior doctor working in the UK. So today, what we're going to talk about, or in today's episode, we're talking about the fact that I had the COVID-19 vaccine. So I got this vaccine not too long ago, about to the 20th of January, which is about a couple of weeks ago. And it's been like about maybe 2 weeks since then. And then we'll talk about like the side effects and everything in a bit. So yeah, anyway, before that, I was thinking about so obviously the COVID vaccine was announced, especially first I think it was Pfizer that it was approved in the UK. Pfizer was the first vaccine approved in the UK, and finally, there's like light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? There's a vaccine and everything going on, but there's been a lot of I would say distrust, or a bit of like people don't really trust what the government say sometimes, which is what I found. And they were thinking, you know what, this vaccine might not be the one, or it could be something else. It's a ruse, or it's, they had a lot of doubts in terms of like how fast they made it. This is because earlier I remember they were saying when the pandemic started out that the vaccine would take maybe 18 months or maybe 2 years, but to find one within about 9 months or so, it's a very remarkable achievement. And so some people were very, very happy about it. Some people were very, very pessimistic about it. I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I was slightly pessimistic. So I started working as a doctor about 2 months ago, in December. And it's around the same time when the vaccine started to roll out. And I was a bit, a bit apprehensive. I was thinking, you know what, let other people take it first, and let's just see what happens, kind of thing. And essentially, but then as time went on, I could see that, the benefits outweigh basically the pros outweigh the cons. And essentially now, so I work in general surgery, so I work in general surgery ward. But obviously with the second wave, they call it, or like the new rise of cases at the moment, most elective cases have been like cancelled or reduced. So essentially, I work in a COVID ward at the moment. I've been working for a COVID ward for the last couple of weeks. So then I just had to like reiterate my position, as in if I should take this or not. So obviously, I'm going to be constantly exposed to COVID positive patients. Is not something that I've had the COVID symptoms before, way back in April, and I was very fortunate, alhamdulillah, that it wasn't that serious. But reinfections are quite unusual, but they could happen, and especially if I'm in a environment where I'm always dealing with COVID positive patients. So I thought, that's something to think about. And the fact, obviously, though, at the time when the COVID vaccines were out, studies are ongoing. They're still ongoing in terms of like transmission rates, and if you take the vaccine, if you're going to decrease transmission. I mean, theoretically speaking, may not have, you probably won't transmit, but obviously from a practical sense, these studies still need to be conducted, and we can see that. But I started to become more optimistic, and some of my friends, my peers that took it early, they seemed pretty fine. So I was like, you know what, let's take a leap of faith and go with it. You know what I'm saying? So 20th of January, yeah, 20th of January. So I went to my hospital, and that was the day it was booked for me. So I went in, and literally they just asked about like a consent form essentially, and just gave me like a brief update on what the vaccine was and everything. And yeah, so literally he jabbed me with the syringe that had the vaccine on my deltoid, on my left deltoid. I went to my non-dominant arm because I didn't want my right shoulder to be affected. So yeah, I mean, initially I didn't even feel the jab, but like after, and then afterwards, they made us sit in this waiting room for like 15 minutes where they like monitor you, and to see if there's any like immediate allergic reactions. So for example, it's like something like anaphylaxis, or any type of severe allergic reaction, like they can manage you right there and then. So I was just sitting there, like looking at everyone. They're looking like, we're just looking at each other like, oh, this next 15 minutes is gonna be, it's quite tense. So we're just sitting there looking at each other, and then I'm just counting the seconds, and then I just sat there for more than 15 minutes, and then one of the healthcare workers came in and said, you guys, you don't have to stay here forever, it's just to see that you're fine in the next 15 minutes. It's been half an hour, you can go home. We're like, oh, all right, we can go home. All right, cool. So I just decided to walk up. I thought, okay, I feel fine. And yeah, just to say, this is my my card. I don't know if you can see if it's zoomed in. But yeah, that's my first dose. I'm expecting my second one 30th of March. It's about 10 weeks from the first one. So immediately I went home, and like, all right, my left shoulder starts to feel a bit warm, a bit achy. I thought, oh, okay, cool. You know what? But it's familiar because I had the flu jab last year, and I felt a similar ache. And I know with all vaccines, the usual side effects are like an achy shoulder, or where the injection point is, or you might feel achy, or you might have a headache, or you might get a fever. But all of those symptoms, in my mind, they align with like your immune system, or like amping up. It's just getting ready to recognize this the spike protein in the vaccine, and to essentially like it's just basically getting ready and making, and then the process is going on. So I wasn't alarmed. I'm glad, like, the 15 minutes there was no allergic reaction, so that was my main concern. Alhamdulillah, nothing happened. And then these symptoms, these other symptoms such as the achy shoulder, I knew it was to be expected essentially. Some of my friends had like maybe a slight fever. Some of my friends felt like they're feeling achy all over, but I didn't feel like that. The only issue I would say is I couldn't really sleep on my left shoulder, so I was just bare loads of tossing and turning, and so yeah, I didn't have great sleep that night. But today is like what, the second week of February. I've lost track of the days, but I've felt great. Like after I think about the third day, I would say the achy feeling disappeared, like it was just completely gone. And people kept messaging me and telling me, oh, how do you feel? Are you still alive? Have you grown an extra arm, or you have an extra ear? And I was like, nah guys, my man's still alive. Nothing's wrong. So I totally forgot that I had the vaccine. It just became part of life. But people obviously kept reminding me that I had a vaccine and asking me how I was doing. But nah, I can say all thanks to God that nothing's happened so far. Obviously, like long-term effects and things like that, like there's still yet to be seen. I mean, I don't have any like, I'm literally not really that concerned anymore. Do you know what I mean? I've done it. Do you know what I mean? I've had the vaccine. It is what it is, and we're just gonna move on from there. So, well, what else is there to say? I mean, some people say that that the second jab you might feel it a bit more, but if the first jab is anything to go by, then hopefully the second jab won't be that bad. I mean, inshallah, all we could do is pray that everything works out. So I knew there was some various rumors about the vaccine, like some funny rumors that obviously that are perpetuated across the internet and these little WhatsApp circles that, that misinformation about the vaccine. So I didn't know too much about them because I'm not really exposed to that. But when I took it and I told people I took it, they were like, wow. And my favorite one is you got like a 5G chip in your arm now. So I was like, right, is it? I got a 5G chip, yeah. It's like, okay, in that case, I must have, I don't need like connection in it. I don't need Wi-Fi because I'm saying I'm good in terms of that sense. But yeah, no, it's like obviously the whole reason is why a SCOPE or me being part of SCOPE is that this is something that is essential. I think the majority of the population will be taking it. Obviously, like people like me in the front line of the NHS are there. Basically, they're prioritized because obviously with the exposure that we have to COVID, and obviously the elderly population as well. Like they're in need of it. But I think as time goes on, they'll work their way down, and probably you guys will probably be considering the vaccine and stuff. So so me being Jibril and obviously part of SSCOPE, I just wanted to obviously update you guys on like how the jab was, and the fact that I'm fine, and you know what I mean, it's and you know what I mean, and then soon hopefully we'll probably put more inshallah we'll put more information out there about the vaccine itself, and the different types and stuff, and you guys can make more of an informed decision if it's for you. If you enjoyed today's video and you would like to see more, please consider pressing the subscribe button and hitting that notification bell, and then you can be like the first to know about when these videos come out. We appreciate everyone that's subscribed to the channel already, and hopefully inshallah I'll see you soon. Bow!